Hello, and welcome to Talk to Downtown. My name is Courtney Wood. I'm the Economic Development Director for the Downtown Stockton Alliance, which is a 501c6 nonprofit property-based business improvement district serving downtown Stockton. This webinar series is intended to connect our business owners, property owners, visitors, and residents with the organizations, people, and resources who can help them address issues which are of top concern to them. Today, we have special guest, Chris Rouppet. He's the Chief of Staff for the San Joaquin County District 1 Supervisor, Miguel Villapudua. Thank you so much, Chris, for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. We'll begin by having Chris introduce himself and share a little bit about his role as the Chief of Staff for Supervisor Villapudua. Then I'll go ahead and ask him a list of questions I've outlined for him. And at the end, we'll open it up to viewers to go ahead and ask your question. And with that, thank you again, Chris, for being here. I'm really excited to learn all about the work that you guys are doing for District 1, which includes downtown in it. So yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role as a Chief of Staff.
Well, thank you for having me, and to what's been a great opportunity that Supervisor Miguel Villapudua has laid out for me as being a lifelong Stocktonian, growing up in this district that he represents, going to school actually in downtown Stockton, riding the bus lines, working out here. I appreciate the opportunity he's given me. My job is to support him, to allow him to do the duties that he wants to do to help and support his community. I'm there to, answer calls, get prepared. He sits on 19 boards and committees, and so there's a lot on his plate, and basically it's to get him prepared for those duties.
Gotcha. So you're helping him all along the way.
All along the way, yes.
Perfect. So the first thing I'd like to kind of start out with as a question is, what do you see as the overarching goal, vision, or purpose of the San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors?
Well, the overall purpose is obviously, they have a 3-year strategic plan, what the county lays out, and they do it obviously every 3 years. And it's, to ensure fiscal responsibility, promote good governance, improve public safety, overall criminal justice system, promote economic development, and stay informed and proactive in dealing with our water issues, which are very important. Those are the strategic plans of the Board of Supervisors, and each of them, on top of that, take care of the unique needs of each of their districts. And so, and with our district, Supervisor Villapudua is focused on those county issues, and along with the needs of his community, such as, addressing homelessness, addressing the issues caused from the pandemic, helping economic growth, and also work on education. Those are just some of the things that he works on.
Awesome. Those are really important issues. And is there anything that you think you would like the public to understand about the powers or limitations of the powers of the Board of Supervisors?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just knowing the difference. Depending on what part of the county you live in, if you're living in the city, as say, for instance, city of Stockton, there's a difference between the Board of Supervisors and City Council. We don't, address things that are in the city jurisdiction. We can't put in speed humps or do street repairs in the city of Stockton jurisdiction. But we do overall see the services that are within the city of Stockton. It's some of the differences that's done. The county, they have, they adopt, annual budget. They part the to department heads, administrative functions, legislative functions. They adopt ordinances, adopted resolutions for setting policy. Those are some of the things that they do, but not oversee the actual city of Stockton. Like I said, the infrastructure, they do not have any jurisdiction over that.
Okay, so you guys do more policy, oversight, direction, but not the day-to-day things that municipalities are responsible for.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. And can you share, are supervisors paid for the work that they do?
Yes, they are. They are paid. Have a salary and with benefits. Yes.
Okay. So then would you say it's a full-time job for them?
It's it's more than a full-time job. It's like having 3 jobs, because it never ends. The supervisors, all of them work very hard, 7 days a week, eat, live, breathe their jobs, and they handle so many different issues, and then promoting ideas, addressing concerns. They wear many hats, so they have a lot on their plate.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's different than city council, to where they can have other businesses and other jobs, but then they're a part of city council separately. Gotcha.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. So now I kind of want to ask about District 1 specifically.
Okay.
So what made you decide to serve as chief of staff for District 1?
Well, the opportunity came where he needed a chief of staff. Every supervisor has a chief of staff, and the opportunity came. He knew my passion of wanting to give back, and we shared both the same passion. He wanted somebody that has the same passion as he did, and knowing my background, growing up, and he presented that opportunity for me, and so I definitely appreciate that, him giving me that chance, and took it. It helps you really get a good insight of local government, and you have a unique opportunity to address concerns and issues that I, as growing up with my family out here, and so we both get to tackle a lot of the things, and and I tell you what, it's been a pleasure. I've learned a lot from him, from the supervisor, and so we work together as a great team, addressing those needs. Yep.
Awesome. So it's very close to home for you.
Absolutely.
And can you tell us a little bit about the boundaries of District 1 for anyone who is unaware?
Yeah, so the San Joaquin County First District boundaries will go as north as the Calaveras River, which is just on the south side of where Stagg High School is. It's on the opposite side, Michael's Pizza, Calaveras River, Alpine. South, Victory Park, through Central Stockton, Yosemite Street Village, through downtown, through Boggs Track, through all of South Stockton, including Weston Ranch, East Stockton. We go as far east to Jacktone Road and Farmington Road. And then we have French Camp as well as part of District 1. So there's about 135,000 constituents that Supervisor Villapudua represents.
Wow, and with a wide range of needs.
With a wide range of needs, that is correct, yes.
Amazing, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And so for you, can you share a little bit about the unique opportunities and threats you see in District 1? Maybe you could go the full district first and then break it down some more specifically to downtown.
Sure. Well, I think the biggest one is homelessness. I mean, the homelessness is a major concern for the supervisor, as far as what our constituents are always bringing up to him, asking him. And so the great thing about that is that, supervisor has been hands-on. He's delegated some of the things, duties to myself. I'm part of an outreach effort that goes out once a week to try to address some of the immediate needs of the homeless, but is finding a solution is what the Supervisor Villapudua has been doing. He's been working with Chairman Tom Patty, who's championed the efforts on finding a solution, collaboration with the city of Stockton, come very close on to getting a new shelter, emergency shelter that will remove the barriers that keep homeless from going into shelters. That's the biggest thing is working, find a solution for our homeless population, and then also working on with the legal dumping. People do want a clean community, so that's something that Supervisor Villapudua has been championing the efforts on cleanups, beautification projects, promoting community pride. He does the annual Beautiful Yards contest every year, and so a lot of efforts are being done to address that. And then for downtown Stockton, wow, our heart is into downtown Stockton. We want to see it succeed. We see the great job by Downtown Stockton Alliance, what you guys are doing, Director Mike Huber. We see the growth. We've seen the new businesses that have come in, and it's the cleanup effort is outstanding. You have the ambassadors downtown, and there's like I said, new restaurants are coming in, and the county itself has some projects down here that you'll start seeing. The public will see some changes coming soon. Hopefully, is our downtown justice campus that will take the place of the existing the old courthouse where the district attorney's office is. That 2.5 acres will be demolished, and they'll put up the downtown justice campus right there, which will house 2 separate buildings, one for the district attorney and the other for the public defender's office, the sheriff's alternative work program, a law library. Will all go into that building. I think there's talking about additional parking, so that's always positive to see.
Wow. Can you give us the timeline on when that might be finished?
Well, I can't say when it's going to be finished, but it's definitely something that we'll see probably the next few years, construction and the demo taking place.
Amazing.
Yep.
I know a lot of people are waiting for something to happen there, so this is exciting news.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So my next question is, what kind of outreach do you and Miguel perform in order to kind of get feedback from constituents? How do you hear about their opinions, their concerns, their views?
Well, so Supervisor Villapudua has set up community meetings that we have throughout the district. There's 6 locations that are in different parts of his district, and those community meetings are held once a month. And we encourage people to come and we tell them we want to hear your concerns, and your ideas. So we have a lot of transparency, but they tell us each part of the district has its own unique needs. And so, from what they want maybe in South Stockton is not necessarily what's needed in East Stockton or the country club area, or as far as in Western Ranch or French Camp. So each area is different, and we help try to find the solutions or try to put their ideas into place, into action. So that's constantly doing that. We also do we have our any opportunity, our free dumpster day events, when the public comes in, always talking to every vehicle, how's your day? What are some of the things you like to see? And we're always collecting information, and we encourage it. We encourage it when we hear things, whether if it's positive or negative, we want to hear it so we can, because if we don't hear it, then we can't address, I can't tell you what your neighborhood needs. The supervisor
Right.
can tell you what your neighborhood needs. They live there, so the residents live in that neighborhood, so they need to tell us. So Supervisor Villapudua has been really hands-on and listens and takes every thing that's said to them. He takes it under consideration and does something about it.
Great. And for those meetings that you're talking about, when are they held? And maybe specifically the downtown one?
So we haven't had one for specifically downtown, but they're held once a month. So we'll, because of the pandemic, there was a delay in the meetings, but we are starting back up in September. We'll have one for the country club community, one for East Stockton, in the section in Oro Street area, which is south of Franklin High School. We'll have one that's at St. Linus Church, which is right up at 11th and B Street. We'll have the other one for the Moss Gardens community, which is on 8th Street, Stockton and 8th Street. We just had recently one for Boggs Track community, and then we'll be having one for the French Camp community as well. But we're always looking to grow the meetings because feel it very important. The residents love it because they feel they're being heard. Feel they have a connection with their elected official, and so and that's where I think a lot of it is the success that Supervisor Villapudua has been having in his district of getting things accomplished. So yeah, it's very important, but we need to have one for part of downtown. Yes, absolutely.
Especially with more residents coming in, I think that would be great if that could be, added to your list. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much. And now I want to ask, what's the most interesting or rewarding aspect of working for the District 1 supervisor?
I think when you get things accomplished, you see the satisfaction of a constituent, when you're able to make change, effective change. I don't think there's a price tag you can put on that to see that there's something getting done. And Supervisor Villapudua, he has the biggest heart. He really cares about his constituents, and so when we can work together to get something done, I think that's the biggest satisfaction. That's my reward for me personally.
Okay. You get satisfaction out of working together, seeing solutions happen to key issues. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Now I have a question about, so I know you may get the same question all the time, and I'm kind of want to tease that out. So what's the most common question that you're asked as chief of staff, or maybe the most common question that Supervisor Villapudua is asked, and how do you answer that question?
Well, again, back to homelessness. Always, I think every supervisor is asked that. I think every elected official is asked that because they see the homeless population, which is, there's different populations of homelessness, but our low barrier population that everybody sees on the under the freeway or the waterway or on the street corner side of the street, that's what the public sees every day. And so that's the question is, what's being done about homelessness? What are we doing about our homeless population? And so, in which, there's a lot being done. It's like I said at the beginning, there's different populations of homelessness, and the county, city, they put a lot of money into number one. The largest is trying to keep somebody from becoming homeless.
Right.
keeping them into their place. So rental assistance and programs to help them stay in their property. And then you have a large population of your hidden population of homelessness. The ones that are back at home, they're couch surfing. There's students. I believe we have 3,500 children in San Joaquin County K through 12 that are in that homeless situation where they're back at grandma's house or they're staying at classmates. So that's being addressed. But and then you have the ones that are in the shelters, which a lot of money goes into the shelters to help provide them with the resources to address homelessness. And then we have the population that everybody sees. So that is always the topic that's always being talked about, and that's what Supervisor Villapudua's number one priority is with homelessness and with and mental health. Mental health is a big issue for him that he's addressing. That he's but those are the question. Is homelessness is the number one question.
I couldn't agree more with mental health being a key, something we really need to focus on, and homelessness. And you talked about prevention. I know earlier you were sharing that you were collaborating with the city for another kind of homeless program. Can you share more about that? Is this the Navigation Center?
Yes, that was the one that was just recently a couple of board meetings ago where the city of Stockton and county working together on creating this new shelter. It did not pass. Unfortunately, did not pass. But that doesn't mean that the efforts have given up. They are going to fine tune what needs to get done in order to get this thing passed. But the new homeless shelter would allow, so like I said, the population that everybody sees, the public sees, is 75% of them have dogs. Well, our existing shelters don't take dogs, and I know the Stockton shelter is going to take in some, but only a few. You got, like I said, 75% have dogs, and that population is, it could be 10 degrees below zero, and they will still stay with their pet. They're not going to let go of their pet. So, pets, partners, and possessions. Those are the three key things that keep homeless from going into the shelters. So if you can remove those barriers and create beds, which would allow some enforcement of on trespassing, but we don't want to use enforcement. It's more of would like to encourage them, like I said, those barriers to get them over into this new emergency shelter. And once they arrive, then there will be some navigation. If somebody's facing substance abuse issues, there'll be, okay, substance abuse issues, step this way, we're going to work with you here. Mental health issues, let's work with you over here. You need job training, job skills, let's work with you. There will be some type of access point for each of them, and create a exit plan for each of them. So there'll be some transition going on, but at least it will keep our population in one location, which we can better serve and do that. So that is the key that everybody's trying to work on collaboratively, City of Stockton and County Board of Supervisors. Supervisor Villapudua is part of that team effort. And like I said, and Chairman Tom Patty is the one who has been championing the efforts on that.
Okay, so it's kind of a work in progress still. We're not sure where this will go, but it is on the radar as something coming up.
It coming up very soon.
Yes. Soon. Awesome.
Soon. Yes, trust me, they're working around on this diligently, very hard working on it. So the efforts are really there. Elected officials are really they're working to get something done. No talk, no more meetings. Let's
yes.
Get it done.
Take action, please.
You're taking action, yes.
Perfect. Okay, thank you so much. The next thing I want to ask is just about the Board of Supervisors meetings. When are they held? are they currently being held online or in person or like a hybrid?
Like a hybrid. They're both. You can now attend meetings in person, or you can watch online. There's on the County Board of Supervisors website. Well, you go to www.sjgov.org, go to Board of Supervisors, and it'll have access to meeting, a link there to watch it. But yeah, so it's you can come and watch it, and they're every 2 weeks, and there's 26 per year that they have, but they do meet every 2 weeks, which recently they just had one yesterday.
Okay, I was going to say they're Tuesdays, I believe. And what time in the mornings?
9 a.m.
9 a.m. Perfect. Thank you. And so I have just a couple more questions about these meetings.
Okay.
How can, I guess the first question is, how are items chosen to go on the agenda? And also, how can people participate in public comment?
So it's, items on, okay, so they're requested to be agendized by, either, the county supervisor themselves, or the department head, CAO, clerk of the board. They'll put something on the agenda. It's reviewed by county council, CAO's office, clerk of the board. They'll review it, and then it will go finally to the chairman of the board, who will have final say-so on the agenda.
Okay, so there's quite a process to get.
There's a little bit of a process, yeah. So sometimes somebody will want something on, like, hey, can we get this on the agenda like next week? It takes about a month, 3 to 4 weeks to get something on the agenda. So they definitely do a lot of preparation and plan ahead and review everything. They have to vet things so before they put something on there. And so, yep. And I think the other question you asked was public comment.
Yeah.
So public comment, you can do it 2 ways, or actually 3 ways. You can come into the Board of Supervisors office anytime and fill out a comment card. You can go online and submit your comment online to the clerk of the board. So there's instructions right on the Board of Supervisors webpage. And then also you can come in person during the board meeting. You can fill out a comment card, and that you would like to request to go up and speak. So you can go up, you have 3 minutes to say whatever you like, except don't attack, no personal attacks, but
please not.
Yeah, but everybody has the freedom to speak whatever they like. Yes.
Okay, awesome. And you said that people can come to your office. Where is the office located?
So our building, the Board of Supervisors office, is located at 44 North San Joaquin Street. That's right on the corner of San Joaquin and Weber. We're the glass building where you get your birth certificates at. That's houses your property taxes, the tax treasurer collector's office, the assessor's office. It's our administrative building. So we are on the 6th floor. And so if anybody, we're open to the public, and anybody would like to come by, they can come on by anytime between
awesome.
Between 8 and 5
in office hours. 8 and 5.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, thank you for sharing a little bit about how people can attend these meetings and also maybe have their opinions heard by the full board. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Okay, so my next question is, how is the work of the Board of Supervisors similar to and also different from the local city councils?
Well, like I said, it's they're similar as far as they represent each of their communities, their districts, but it's coming to the difference is what jurisdictions they have. What the Board of Supervisors have a lot of power. They do, like I said, they'll do hearings. They could do land use issues. They'll set policies. Little different than what the city council does on theirs. And like I said at the beginning, they have a legislative function. They do a quasi judicial function. They have, and so they'll hear, some of the things that are similar. They'll do the budgets. They'll hear the budget hearings and address those things. But there are some things that are a little different, as I mentioned.
Okay. And what kind of collaboration is there between the Board of Supervisors at the county level and the local city council? So how do they work together?
Well, yeah, I think just like what I said earlier, I think, speaking for what Supervisor Villapudua does, and what we're doing here for City of Stockton, currently working together on the homeless issue, on illegal dumping. That is something that's going on right now with county and city collaboration to change ordinances here on that. So it is very common that the city and county work together because, it takes a village. It takes a village, it really does. It takes cooperation. And so Supervisor Villapudua and, our local city elected officials and the mayor have been great working together and trying to find solutions. And so that's been really very positive that's been happening right now.
Okay, so there's a lot of positive collaboration between both groups to get work done.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Okay, so we're coming down. I just have a few questions left. This one I've been asking everyone since last year, but how do you feel that the pandemic has affected District 1 and downtown specifically? What have you seen from your perspective?
Well, definitely. Pandemic really affected a lot of people. I mean, it's unfortunate. We've had, we lost lives. We lost a lot of lives. A lot of people were affected health-wise. I think, and then also mental health. It was a big factor in that. I think that was number one. Definitely took effect on that. And then we've seen economic. The pandemic has affected our economy, local economy, especially in our small business, which really suffered. So having restaurants closed, and that was a big factor that we've seen. The other thing is how how it's affected families, with their living situations, from both sides. We have folks that faced a financial offset for them not being able to pay rent, and then we have some with landlords who have not been paid. We've got a lot of calls with landlords who have not. They have payments to make, and so it's affected everybody across the board of the pandemic.
I totally agree. And what kind of work can you say the Board of Supervisors has put into place since last year? So like what measures, policies, or programs was the Board of Supervisors involved in promoting or implementing to help our community through the pandemic?
Sure. Good question. So the first thing comes to mind when we started off was obviously the Project Room Key. That was county provided housing to the homeless population that were exposed to COVID-19, and to protect them, our most vulnerable population. That's why they got the Motel 6 right there off of Charterway and Navy Drive, and so that was Project Room Key was one of them. The grant programs, the Family COVID Grant Program, that was another one that county launched. A program which provided grants for renters and homeowners impacted by COVID-19. I believe it was $5.6 million in grants with a limit of $5,000 per individual. That was a big one. And then also the small business grant program that was launched as well. I think there's been 3 rounds, and at least over $20 million has been allocated. And then just recently, to help small business, is the relief across downtown, the RAD card program, which is going on right now. The Board of Supervisors approved it. They've allocated $1 million into this program, where anybody, I mean, if nobody has gotten it yet, they need to get it. It's the app, and you will get matched funds up to $100. So if you put $100 in, your maximum, you get an additional $100. So now you have $200, and you can use it at all participating small businesses, which are shown on your app. And so far, we've used about $400,000 of the $1 million. So there's plenty of money still out there. Even the county's considering even putting maybe more money into it.
Wow.
So it really incentivizes people to go out and spend money into these participating businesses. So if anybody knows anybody, spread the word on it, and then even your favorite small business, let them know to get on the program. There's no fees for the business whatsoever, so it's all free, but it's all, part of the Board of Supervisors has approved. So those are some of the things that measures and things that have taken place so far that I can think of right now.
Awesome, thank you. And thank you so much for sharing about the RAD card. Can you tell everyone just where they can go to get the app? And I know that it's focused on downtown businesses and some other sections of Stockton, but a lot of the focus was placed on downtown. So it's a great way to support downtown businesses.
Absolutely. Yeah. So they just go on to their smartphone and go to their apps, and the RAD card, download it, and you put your money into, and actual for the community that you're part of. So you could be for, say, City of Stockton, to get on it and put your money in it. It's pretty simple, but it's easy to download. Just go right onto your applications on your smartphone.
Awesome. And we'll put a link to that in the comment section for anyone who's listening and doesn't know about it, and either a business owner that wants to sign up to be an approved vendor, or just any user who wants to access the RAD card and use it. So we'll definitely link that in the comment section. Awesome. Okay, I'm glad to hear about all the work that the Board of Supervisors has done to try to help our communities through the pandemic. And I think a lot of the business help that you guys put out there has been great. It's been amazing. Okay, so shifting out of the pandemic, what are some major items at the forefront of the work of the Board of Supervisors in the next year or so? I know homelessness, you said, is key. Is there anything else?
Yeah. Obviously water. Water is a big issue. The drought continues to be a major issue, and then the recent fires are also continuing to exacerbate the issues of the drought. So water is a key thing. COVID and the economic recovery. Now with this Delta variant, still an issue. Businesses still recovering. Economic recovery, rental relief for tenants. Eviction issues and unemployment might still be a major issue here in the next year. And I think also, which really right now we're doing right now in the middle of the supervisorial and state redistricting. This is a critical effort that will shape how the residents of San Joaquin County vote for the next 10 years. So get involved. Anybody can get involved. They can go to the San Joaquin County website, www.sjgov.org, and check it out. But that's the big things going on right now that I can see the forefront.
Awesome. So I kind of want to dig into a couple of those if you can. So regarding the water issues, what kind of work are you guys trying to do to work on that?
Well, we have two of our supervisors that have been really been key players on the water issues. That's been Supervisor Kathy Miller and Supervisor Chuck Wynn. They sit on multiple committees, local committees, state committees on our water, and so that's a big thing. Supervisor Villapudua is an alternate part of the East Water Board District. So we, the supervisor and the board, really have really put the efforts. The with Supervisor Villapudua, with the drought, it's definitely staying in tune with that, and anything that we can do with water retention is always a key factor for him.
Okay, so they're trying to keep what we have in our
Absolutely.
county. Okay, gotcha.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
no twin tunnels. No twin tunnels.
no tunnels. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, and then the other thing I wanted to dive into from what you were saying is about the redistricting. Can you share just a little bit more with people about what's involved in the redistricting and what that would mean for this area?
Sure. So every 10 years, when the census comes out, that's when populations shift. We've seen a lot of growth in the county, in San Joaquin County, and so with the Board of Supervisors, they try to balance out the populations of each district, and so they have it's equal, and from the last census, things have changed, and we expect there'll be additional changes as there's been growth spurts. Now you've seen, Lathrop, how big Lathrop has gone, River Islets, the emergence of Mountain House, how much they've grown out in the Trace area of Mountain House. And so there will be some shifts. And so whoever their representative is now could change because boundary lines will change. And also it goes into for the congressional lines as well. You might have a different, congressman or it might change, some of the boundaries. So that's really, really important, and everybody should be involved and know who might be representing them. They might keep the same elected official, or it could be somebody different.
Okay. And what kind of input are you looking for from the community on the redistricting, or what kind of involvement are you hoping to get?
Well, I think their input. That's the biggest thing, is the input. How do residents feel? What's important to them, and why they would like to retain their elected official. There might be some things that they've been working on, or there might be opportunities to have someone different. But there will be on, I believe it's the 17th. There will be a public outreach you can do online and be a part of it. And the link is on our county website again, right on the front page for anybody to jump in and learn about it. So it'll be a redistricting workshop on the 17th.
Okay, awesome. And you gave the website earlier of where people can go to access information about those meetings and the redistricting. So great, it's a great opportunity for people to be heard.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so my next question is about more a long-term, and you mentioned that there is a strategic plan for the county. So what are some of the priorities in that long-term strategic plan, and where do you see downtown fitting into it?
Well, there's the 3-year plan. There's a strategic plan, and that's the 5 are ensure fiscal responsibility, promote good governance, improve public safety, and promote economic development, and to stay informed and proactive in dealing with water issues. I see with downtown is the economic growth. of downtown to fit the needs of the growing community, that we have with the new construction projects that are going on right now on Minor and Hunter, with more residents moving into downtown. How can we help with the economic development to support the new residents coming in? And so that's something that I could see us continuing to work together on, working on that part of the to bring in new businesses to support the growing population that's coming to downtown.
Great economic growth in downtown.
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. So the last two questions. First, is there anything else that you would like people to know about either District 1, the Board of Supervisors itself, or anything else related to the work that you do that you think is important for people to know?
Well, I think speaking on for Supervisor Villapudua, I mean, number one, I mean, we want them to know that, there's always transparency. We are open. If anybody wants to contact our office or set up a meeting, or for the supervisor to come out and speak, that's always open all the time. We want to be as transparent as possible. We want to let folks know that they are being heard with issues, and supervisors always working on finding solutions to their needs, whether it's infrastructural changes, which we have a lot of infrastructure projects going up, including one recent right now we have in Boggs Track, where I'll use them as an example. When the Highway 4 extension went right through Boggs Track, underneath has been pretty much weeds and gravel underneath. And so it aesthetically didn't look too pleasing to the community. So Supervisor Villapudua went out and with Public Works and through support of the Port of Stockton, received a grant from the state, which will turn that empty space into a beautiful green belt with dog park and other walking trails.
Wow.
We will do. Yes, it's going to be really nice. It will really enhance the area. He's looking at sidewalks. He's been putting those in throughout his communities, and we'll go through sidewalk phase 3 that's coming up there off of south of 8th and B Street, on B Street, 9th Street, 10th Street. Those streets will be getting sidewalks, which they never had before. We have sidewalks going in East Stockton for residents that they're looking forward to. There's always some type of infrastructural projects that he has going on. There's some collaboration right now. Another one that was initiated by Supervisor Villapudua is on Alpine Avenue, where between I-5 and University Pacific, looking to decrease the lanes from 4 lanes to 3 lanes, and to put in the bike lanes. Bike lanes is a big push that our Supervisor Villapudua has been doing to promote healthy lifestyles and different modes of transportation. Less cars on the road, less emissions, and so we get people to start bike riding. That's great, but those are some of the things. Like, we are always open, so anybody who wants to talk to us or talk to supervisor, it's always available. So we want everybody to know that they are being heard. Yes.
You want their feedback.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, and that leads me to my last question. So if people do want to get in touch with you or Supervisor Villapudua directly, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you to, share their opinions or ask questions?
Sure. Well, they can call us on our number, which is 209-468-3113. That goes right to the Board of Supervisors. Also our email, which is mvillapudua@sjgov.org, and or myself at Rouppet@sjgov.org. You can reach me through email, but telephone, we're always available anytime.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for answering my questions. I hope that it wasn't too much, and I appreciate that you were filling in for Supervisor Villapudua. Awesome. And now I do have a couple of viewer questions. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Take your breath. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Here we go. So this question, so this is a comment. It's from Johnny Palacios. He's saying he's looking forward to the changes coming to the old courthouse location. So that's just something good. This is from Jason Ramos. He's asking, on the topic of mental health, what are some actions your team is taking to address this? Are there any programs or resources being made that you can share about?
Sure. Good question. So Supervisor Villapudua, who actually served 4 years on the Behavioral Health Board, as now is the alternate. Supervisor Miller is now sits on that Behavioral Health Board of San Joaquin. And so things that are being addressed right now, especially right now because of the pandemic, working with SUSD, Stockton Unified, getting behavioral health specialists into the schools, working with students. I know they're trying to expand to work also not only with the students, but with their families as well. That's a key thing, working with expanding to our veterans that are out there, more outreach, trying to get more, open up more access centers where someone can see behavioral health specialists through different parts of town. I know that's a big push right there. But that is some of the things that are happening right now. But I know there's a lot of work that they're doing to put in especially because of the pandemic, that really are trying to put efforts into this. So there'll be some things coming out soon that the public will hear about. But it's in the right direction, definitely, for San Joaquin County.
Great. So already some help in schools, but there will be other access points and more to come. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay. This question is from Michael Huber. He's asking, Chris, does Supervisor Villapudua have an opinion of how funding should be spent in addressing homelessness?
Well, like I said, that's number one priority is homelessness, and definitely wants to put all the efforts into finding a home where we could address whatever the issues or needs that they have, and to create an exit plan, because we understand that right now homelessness is costing taxpayer money. I believe 35% of the police and fire calls are homeless related. The hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars that are spent on cleanups, how it affects quality of life, and then for the homeless itself, it's not healthy to always moving them. You're moving, okay, you got to move from this area to another area and so without really addressing the issue. So Supervisor Villapudua is all in on, let's get a solution for this right now. And like I said, Chairman Patty is the one that is championing these efforts, and but he wants to do it in a fiscally responsible effort into doing this, because this is we have to develop a plan that will be sustainable, not just to create something without a full plan, but how can we sustain it? So that's what Supervisor Villapudua is really looking into, and putting the money into that, so it could be the sustainability of it. So this could really work. So he's all in on that.
Okay, great. So a sustainable plan. Do you think that involves allocating funding to not only housing, but also the mental health piece, and also maybe some of the addiction support? What do you think?
Absolutely, and that's part of the sustainability, is that we have to have our mental health workers that are in there. If you're going to do it, you have to do it right. And those are all key things that you just mentioned right there, that are needed, and we have to get the funding for that. Now we'll see what the state's planning to do. Understand, Governor Newsom has a $12 billion plan, and hopefully we'd like to get a large share of that money, and also if there's federal money, we like to get that money and put it into these programs. We're definitely looking for a solution, and to create transitional housing for our most vulnerable community, and to put them on a correct path into to where they can have their own housing and get them back onto being a productive citizen back again. So that's what we want to see, success.
Us too. Great. Okay. So I see a comment. This is from Aaron Edwards. He just wants to say thank you for the leadership and commitments that your office shows to the community. So another thank you to you. And I have just one last question that I see. This is from Johnny Palacios. He's asking, will San Joaquin County be receiving any funds from the infrastructure bill that was just passed in Washington? If so, are there any plans for future projects?
Yeah, so we're hoping to get the monies out here for San Joaquin County. There are some projects. There's a 10-year plan that San Joaquin County has right now, and they will just announce it. Some of the projects for the county, like I said, the Downtown Justice Campus, the public health clinic that is on Hazelton, that's going through a change right now. They're going to put in a medical clinic. There's a campus of different health related buildings that are going up, that'll be coming up. Also the infrastructural change on the public works, environmental health, community development buildings that are also across from Strimley Park on Hazelton. We'll be going through some changes. I believe at the Sheriff's Department, they have on their grounds, there's some forecasting for some changes as well. And then also we're trying to do for our, most importantly, for our youth, our parks. We're looking to hopefully build, community centers, revitalize the parks, get them ready for soccer fields, baseball, picnic structures. We want families to come out to the parks, to utilize the parks. We want things for kids to do. So that's what we have on the forefront. That is for Supervisor Villapudua. That's our office is really pushing for youth programs, for things for kids to do. Absolutely.
A lot of changes coming, infrastructure improvements, a lot of things happening in your district. So that's exciting. Very exciting. Awesome. Okay. I have one last comment. Someone says, this is from Renee Gutierrez. They're saying, good morning. Thank you so much for your hard work and commitment to continuing to improve San Joaquin County and for supporting ACE Rail. So a lot of good comments today.
Yes, that's some other positive things right there with ACE Rail. They're doing a fantastic job. Yes. We got a lot of, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of positives going on in Stockton right now. And, and for San Joaquin County, there's a lot of positives. I think everybody has the right attitude, and I think it's good right now for to be a Stocktonian or a resident of San Joaquin County, especially with the leadership that we have. I think it's really positive. We are heading in the right direction. So I think residents should be very pleased with that.
Amazing. Okay, well, that's the end of the questions. So thank you so much, Chris, for answering everything. I really appreciate it. I think everyone probably learns a lot of cool things about what's going on in District 1.
Yeah.
And at this time, I would just like to remind our viewers that this video is going to be uploaded to our YouTube channel, which is Downtown Stockton. If you're watching us live on Facebook, you've already found us there, where our handle is @Downtown Stockton. but we are also on Instagram at Downtown Stockton and Twitter at Downtown STKN. And with that, I would like to thank you viewers for tuning in. And thanks again, Chris, so much for being our guest today. I'm really, really happy to have you here. And with that, I would like to say, have a great day downtown. Thanks, everybody.